Hey guys, it's John, and I'm playing Danya again. Wow, his rating is even higher than when I played him the other day. 2720. He says in the chat, "Here we go again." I guess that's true, Danya. I'll sell him. Yup. He must have seen the video that I posted. I mean, we did play a pretty good little match there. What am I going to do here? I'm going to do d4. I think knight e4 is the move. And now queen c2 is not so good. What did I do here? I had this position not long ago, actually. I can't remember what I'm supposed to do. Bishop d2 is a move, clearly. Was it... I can't for the life of me remember what the move is. Queen c2, take. Queen takes. He has c5. That's not so good. So I think in the game I'm thinking of, I actually played Queen c2, take, and take with a pawn. But I'll play it differently this time. So he has the bishop pair, but I have a good stake in the center. So that's how we'll play it. We'll just occupy the middle. Probably try to play e5 at some point. Just go h4. He's crouching behind his pawns right now. Could go h5. But I don't want my pawn to become weak on that square. Maybe queen f4? Queen f4, e5. E5 right now seems a little rushed. Let's just get my queen out of the way. He could play b5. Because if I take, he takes, I take with the knight, my pawn on a2 hangs. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Daniel watched that video or somehow was alerted to the fact that I had posted our game online. Maybe he reads Reddit where it was also posted. Or maybe he follows my channel. In either case, how you doing, Daniel? Queen e7. Yeah, he's playing it conservatively. I got to break in the center at some point. I really do. So let's just do it now. I just don't want this pawn to become weak in the middle. If he takes, I'm going to take with my knight and try to instigate a trade of bishops. If he takes on f3 right now, then I might take on d6, like in between move to attack his queen. Wow, what is he on the... He's very high on the best list, by the way. Yeah, he's the highest rated player on the best list by a really good margin right now. Anyways, because if I take right here, I'm just a little worried he can take on d4. I'm just not sure about that. Or take on e5, I mean. So like take on e5, I take on a8, he takes on d4. Let's say queen d2. Yeah, I don't want to mess with that. I'm just going to take. Let's do this. This is fine. Knight d5 is not an issue for him. He just retreats. Okay, so let's go here. We both look pretty solid. I'm actually threatening bishop b7 in this position. I don't think he saw it. Am I missing any tricks? Nope, don't think so. So bishop b7, then I can go take this pawn and then stick my bishop on b5. So it's nice that I got that move in. I'm just down a lot on time. I spent too long thinking about those in-between moves. Oh, I could have gone knight d5. Dang. Knight d5 was good. Alright, let's just do this. Knight d5 might still be good coming up. Was much better on the previous move. Let's go queen f3. Just get off the diagonal. Or off of the file. Really wish I would have seen that move, but... Okay. Let's start advancing. I really want to avoid playing into some sort of knight exchange if I can. If I can avoid that, that would be excellent. What knight g5? Looks good here. Maybe I have sacrificial ideas in the middle. On e6 at some point, or f7. Hard to tell. Take with my pawn. Taking with the bishop also made a lot of sense because I'd be aiming against those guys. But I think the plan of d5 now is just strong. I actually wouldn't be surprised if he played queen f6 and tried to get a queen trade in. Because I could have some initiative if he's not careful. I really like this. Wow, he took that. Really? I didn't think he could do this. I really did not. Okay, what if I take on e6? Looks funky. Take on e6, he takes f2 maybe. I could also play queen f4, but he has e5. No, maybe. Queen d3. Oh, I really want to take on e6. Like really, really bad. Okay, let's do it. This might backfire, but I don't see an obvious way that it backfires. I'm worried about knight takes f2. I think that's like the key move. And I can play just rook d2 against that though. So maybe it's no big deal. Oh, he took it. Uh-huh. Am I going to be down a piece? I think I am. Yeah, I didn't calculate that through. It's unfortunate. If I take d4, he takes here. I take d8. Yeah, I'm going to be hurting on the material. That's really too bad. Is there any way I can trick him? Doesn't seem like it. Rook takes d4. Okay, I'm just going to do this. I mean, I got to go for something like this. Yeah, I messed that position up. It's a shame.
Check.
Let's do that. I can't see anything else. He does get that move in. We'll try to bring my knight to d5. I might have some auxiliary chances, but my time situation is really bad. Actually, like, if I get his b pawn, it's kind of hard for him to stop one of my passed pawns. I have a strong bishop. So maybe we'll just hustle.
Check.
See what we can do. Let's go here. Let's do this. Really want to get my king in.
Check.
And if I can play c5, that would be nice. c5 take a5. And maybe run away a pawn? Maybe? If king d6, I can take on b6.
Time warning.
Okay, so let's do this. I think I gotta do this. If he checks, I go king b8. Ooh, this is not looking good, though. Oh, actually, okay. If he moves his rook down, let's say to f2, I push, he goes rook b2, I can push again. Because if he takes my bishop, I have king a6. Okay, this is looking good. Or at least on my limited time, I think this looks good. I can do that. That's
Check.
key. Yeah, this is nice. Okay, now I
Check.
win. But
Check.
I have to play quick.
Check.
Let's go here. Let's go here. He's going to go into blitz mode already.
Check. 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 Check.
Man.
Check.
I don't have enough time.
Check.
Yeah, I'm going to
Check.
lose. All right. Well, the ending was cool. I just didn't have enough time to finish it. I definitely missed some chances early on, though. So, like, if I go back... So this double fianchetto, Yeah, another line is queen c2, knight takes c3, and then pawn takes c3. This is interesting. To try to go e4. Because I think if queen takes c3, then c5 is giving black good play. Like pin against my queen. So I did this and then surrendered the bishop pair, but ended up getting a real nice center. I thought all of these moves were normal. Yeah, all this is normal. And e5. In between move take. I was contemplating bishop takes f3, and then if he does this, sacrificing the rook in the corner, the idea that he can play this. And I thought about it for maybe a little bit too long. I think I should have just either gone with this line or just dismissed it. But let's just check the time. Yeah, I spent a good 30 seconds on this move. I don't think that's really warranted. Let's just see what the engine has to say, just for kicks and giggles. Yeah, engine says bishop takes f3. Okay. But it's not like bishop takes f3 is devastating or anything. He can just play rook a8. No problem. So after this, he did this, hitting the c4 pawn. Engine says I can already play bishop b7. Why is that? Because if here he takes... Okay, I guess it just likes this position. This is like the same thing. Yeah, I'm going to win his exchange because anywhere his rook goes, I have this knight d5 trick. So if he goes to c7 or b4, knight d5 is good, exploiting the pin on the e-pawn. If he goes to c6, then I can force him to a dangerous square. Like bishop, I guess bishop b5 would do it. And then if here, then I can do this and then take here, and I'm winning the exchange again. Plus I'm up a pawn. So this knight d5 move, yeah, that would have really turned the screws. Kind of mad at myself that I missed that. I mean, I saw the bishop b7 idea. He did not. So I did that. But when he moved here... Oh, actually, okay, so I didn't have that quite yet. Was it the next move that I had it? No, it wasn't that. For some reason, I thought I had this here, but I guess not, because I would lose 2 minors if I did this. Yeah, and then he takes on b7. Okay, so I don't feel as bad about it. But it seems like bishop b7 would have been a good move here. I don't even need to protect my c-pawn, as it turns out. That's a very interesting conclusion. Because, yeah, I take and force his rook to a bad square. One of all the 3 options, just losing material. So I win the pawn. Play around here was perhaps not so convincing. Again, I'm down on time, like I'm down a solid minute or so on time. I really thought there was a tactic here. I guess I should take with my bishop on c4, huh? I didn't realize until after I took with the b-pawn how strong the bishop capture could have been instead, because that aims right at his king, and he's got these 2 pawns in the way, but look at everything I have trained on those pawns. Bishop, rook, knight on the e6 pawn, queen, knight on the f7 pawn. There might be some tactical fireworks. Moreover, maybe I can play d5 and really try to pry open the center. Gutsy decision by him to take on d4. Given the position, I'm sure it's a great decision. I just really doubted he would do this with all the pressure. Okay, now I got a little carried away and took on e6. I guess the engine doesn't think it's that bad. But yeah, I missed rook f7. Okay, and I found the best line.
Check.
To give up the exchange. Yeah, it's really interesting. This might not be so bad. I mean, once I got over the shock of being down, well, I'm technically not even down material, but I will lose this f2 pawn. Once I got over the shock of that, I just didn't have that much time. But it started dawning on me that, hey, my position is pretty good. Like, black has to be careful, because as soon as I get rid of that b6 pawn, whether it's capturing it with something like knight c7, d5, take on b6, or pushing c5 and just sacrificing and getting it past a pawn, he's going to have a hard time stopping that pawn no matter what happens.
Check.
So this turned out really interesting. Computer says king e3 is better. Oh, okay, so I attack his rook and maybe I have just a chance to take on b6 thereafter. I'm most curious about this position. Am I just winning here? That's amazing if true. Based on the eval, it looks like it. Because my idea is very simple. It's just c5, take, and push the a-pawn, as it happened in the game. My bishop is in like a perfect spot. King d6 can be met by king takes b6. Yeah, and I should be winning that. The two passed pawns. He doesn't really have time to go and collect these guys and create a passed pawn of his own. It takes too long. I'll be like on a7 or something by the time he's doing that. So, wow. But, you know, you make your bed, you got to sleep in it. And I made my bed a long time ago when I spent so much time, especially on that bishop takes f3 decision. I mean, stuff like that, spending 30 seconds on that move. Just bad, bad, bad. This is a cool idea, though, the fact that I can play a6, and he comes to b2, and I just get that move in.
Check.
And I'm winning. This is kind of study-like, actually. Yeah, note that if he goes rook a2, I have bishop a6, just blocking his rook. I did see that the engine saw some way for him to draw in this position. Rook f8. Huh. Rook f8 and just, like, sack the rook? Huh. Okay, and then his king is very active, and I guess he can make a beeline for... Oh, actually, okay. Yeah, this is kind of instructive. So all he really needs to do to draw in this position is what? Maybe you guys can pause your video if you want. What does black need to do to gain a draw from this position? Okay, so the answer is black just has to get my g-pawn somehow. And if I'm up the h-pawn, it doesn't matter because I have the wrong color bishop. So even if I lose my g-pawn and black loses all three of those pawns, so c, g, and h, it would still be a draw because he can just park his king on h8, and there's no way for me to ever break through. So the experienced viewers will know that like the back of their hand, but for a lot of you guys, that might be a useful endgame to pick up. So I have the wrong color bishop for the square that I eventually want to queen the pawn on. So for instance, he could just play king f6, and I don't know, let's say I play king here, g5. If I take, that's a really easy draw for him, like here, and he's threatening king g4. I mean, something simple like this would be good, and if I play g4, I could even lose. So I would just take, and we'd end up in a draw. But say for the sake of argument, instead of taking on g5, white just plays something like, oh, I don't know, this. Take, take. Black doesn't even need to defend the h-pawn. You just let me have it. And even though the engine is showing like some ridiculous eval in this position, it's a draw. It's just a draw. Engine's showing +8 right now, but that's not correct. We'll just follow. Actually, we'll follow the engine line just for argument's sake. It's saying king e5 for some reason. Whatever. Yeah, it's not suggesting any plan. So basically, like at some point, white will take this pawn, and black can just keep their king hanging out in h8. It's a draw. So actually, that's interesting because it seems like he can draw with rook f8 if he manages to sacrifice his rook for the pawn. Why does rook a2 not work? Does that work as well? Here.
Check.
Maybe in this line his king is not quite fast enough. Let's say king e7. Well, actually, I don't see why not. And I take or whatnot, and he plays g5. Yeah, this is the same thing. This is identical. Okay, so he needed to sack the rook for the a-pawn at this point, and he should gain a draw by pushing g5 and making sure I only end up with the h-pawn. Very interesting. Yeah,
Check.
and as played, I got the queen, but
Check.
couldn't figure
Check.
out how to win
Check.
with my 13 seconds left. I was even looking for some way to simplify, but it just wasn't happening. Yeah, this is
Check.
kind of pathetic.
Check.
I mean, actually, like, if we had more time, this might be tricky to win, because he does have, like, a mini fortress. His rook is protected, it's on a great square, and it defends the g6 pawn, and it defends c4, so this would be tough to win. I don't know if it's possible for white to win. I think it should be, but it's pretty rare that you have two pawns and the queen and can't win against the rook. But the time situation made all of that moot. So, well, that was a really interesting battle. So, thank you, Danya. Thank you, Daniel, for the game. And like I was saying, I looked him up maybe I can just show you guys. But this is like, this is some domination of the 5-minute pool. Look at his rating, 27-27. He's a full 125 points-ish higher than the next person. That's crazy. Here I am hanging around. I mean, what is his history like? Wow. He's played quite a bit. Oh, he beat Olegas twice. Hail to you, Daniel. That's impressive, beating Olegas twice. Cool. All right, hope you guys enjoyed that one, and I'll be back with more videos very shortly. Thanks, guys.